Good morning again, everyone. Just back here driving to work again. Just giving another update. Maybe give a little bit more about me. So, a little bit about my journey. Just kind of, this is a little bit of a rambling thing, something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So, I don't know, like some people, I'm not sure how many people have actually seen this or will see this. If you have, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But like, just to let everyone know, I have always been a big person. I've always been on the heavy side. I've been, like, even from a kid, I was always one of those kids who is considered husky and always had to wear the husky sizes, and was always just a bigger, kind of pudgier kid growing up. Even when I got into playing some sports in high school and college, and got into better shape, I was always on the bigger side of things, which didn't hurt in certain aspects, but like, it's like, I was always self-conscious about it. Definitely had a little bit like, lacked a little confidence at time because of it, but that happens. And I've always wanted and said, I'm going to take care of it, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to improve myself, and it doesn't always work. It's been a struggle. I've tried diets, I've had some success, but then something happens and it's very easy to fall off the kind of the wagon, or as you say, but that's not really the right term, but fall off the good habits. Your good habits disappear. So it's like, I had done, like, I want to say Weight Watchers, and just to let everyone know, this is not sponsored by anybody. This is not to bash any system or anybody either. This is just kind of the journey I've been on. So I've done my own diets where I've just made better choices about what I'm eating. I've actually, at one point in time, I did go to a nutritionist to try to figure out how to like what I should be eating, to how to like put together better meals, and kind of really the big thing I always struggled with is portion sizes. So I would always come back for seconds. I would have a heaping plate, just giant portions. So that was one piece I always struggled with. The other one I always struggled with was boredom eating, and I still struggle with this now. Where like, I'll just be like relaxing, or I'm not in the middle of like, just not, there's not much I'm doing, or I'm just sitting quietly, and it's like, I don't know what to do. I get bored, I putter around, and instead of finding something constructive, I just grab a snack. And it's not always the healthiest snack, it's not always needed. Sometimes I'm not even hungry. I just grab a snack. I boredom eat. So that's one I still struggle with now. I've gotten better, but it's not perfect. But I've gone up and down. I've been pretty heavy at times. So at my heaviest, I was probably close to 375 pounds, maybe even a little bit more. So it definitely, I definitely ballooned up significantly. And that one, it happened probably a couple times where I got close to that. For the past, like, off and on for the past 10 years, for the most part, I've been probably somewhere 330 to 350, just on the bigger side. I've tried diets, I've gone up and down. I've done like Biggest Loser challenges with friends in the past. I've been able to actually, because I make changes for short term, I do better. I would do well in some of those competitions, but then as soon as it was over, I just went right back to my old habits. So I've always been kind of struggling. I have started doing something, so I'm still on my journey right now. I will say, in talking with my doctors in the past, and my my wife, who's been my support through everything my whole life. She's an angel. She puts up with me when I'm not necessarily all the easiest to put up with. She also puts up with me being a giant child. I basically, as she likes to point out at times, I've never grown up. I'm as big a child as my own children are. But she has been amazing throughout this process. And without her, I probably wouldn't have the success I've had so far to date with what I've been doing. But I still have a long ways to go. So what I've been doing, I started a little under a year ago using Wegovy. And I'm not, if you're familiar with it or not, this isn't a promotion. This isn't trying to encourage anyone to just go out and try it. This is just my story and my journey that I've been on. But a little over a year ago, I started Wegovy. And if you're familiar with it, you kind of have to ramp up. You start on a low dose and you work up through, I believe it's 5 stages of the medicine to get up to kind of the max dose on it. And then that's where typically you stay once you get there, at least while you're trying to go through your journey for weight loss. When I first went on it, I struggled. When I was on the lowest dose, in the lowest 2 doses specific, actually, I became ravenous. I just was always starving, and I actually put on 20 to 25 pounds when I had just started the Wegovy. I actually got to a point that I was very close to just stop taking it and just accept being the size I was at the time. And when I first went on it, I was probably about 255 pounds. And yeah, as I said, I put on 20 to 25 pounds, maybe a little bit more. I stopped weighing myself when I got up to the heaviest on my scale at home, just because I was getting kind of frustrated and discouraged by it. But it was actually my wife who told me to just keep trying it, give it a little longer, and if it didn't change at that point, have a conversation again with the doctor instead of just stopping it. So because she encouraged me to continue on it, when I moved up to the 3rd level dose, the middle dose of it, I actually finally started seeing some progress. That I wasn't always starving, I wasn't always ravenous, and the weight didn't just keep going up. At that point I kind of plateaued, and then I'm like, okay, maybe there is some sort of encouragement. And so after that, I continued going up, and as I went up through the next couple of doses of it, I was doing quite well with it. I actually ended up very quickly dropping probably about all the weight I had put on, and then more. Actually, I'd end up having at one point to go for a weight check after I was on the top dose for, I want to say, 2 months, and at that point I was down from where I started just shy of 50 pounds. So I had already dropped quite a bit of weight very quickly, and it's not just the weight that was dropping. I was also noticing, the big thing I've noticed is in previous times when I've lost weight, my proportions didn't change. The size clothes didn't necessarily change as drastically. But what I saw is this one is working differently. Things were coming off almost proportionally across everything, not just all in like one area. Like I wasn't just getting chicken legs from lack of working out, or I wasn't just losing it in the belly. I was losing it like everywhere that I kind of had some fat across the body. At least that's what I felt. I still have things I need to do. I actually have since probably 2-3 months ago switched to from the Wegovy to Zepbound, because that one also supposedly has the benefit of helping with sleep apnea, which I have been diagnosed with, and been using a CPAP for several years. So when I first switched to the Zepbound, I had a little bit of a transition because of some mix-up with the medicine and the insurance and the timing of things. I went several weeks, almost a month, without having the medicine, and then when I switched over to the Zepbound, I had some side effects just because of not having been on something for a while. But once I got by those, that has continued to be a functional and supporting tool in my journey. I know the medicine is not a magic wand that's going to just make it happen, but it's a tool to help support the journey. What I've done outside of that is I try to be better about my diet. Am I perfect? No, by no stretch of the imagination. So I still have a lot of work to do on that. I also need to start working out more, because what I have noticed is I've lost weight. Quite a bit of fat I've lost, yes, but I've also probably lost some muscle mass just because I'm not lifting like I used to. And a lot of that has been time and just other things going on. So it's not an excuse, it's just something I know I need to continue doing and take the next steps with. So what I'm saying is, I'm just putting this out there because I am very excited. I've actually, at this point in time, probably lost approximately 90 pounds, maybe give or take, from when I was at my heaviest.